Northeast Campus community, welcome to our September, September 2024 NEC Engages. This is our attempt to reach out to our community and our stakeholders and our absolutely wonderful families and students and share with you a little bit what's going on with Northeast Campus and the time your students are spending here with our amazing staff. So my name is David Swarnick. I serve as the campus administrator. I'm joined to my left here by Miss Audrey Stewart, our rock star pharmacy instructor. And then, of course, we're always blessed to have Mrs. Casillas with us as well to share this time with us. So a couple of things. Again, we try to do this every month. We'll also attach a newsletter as well to give updates. We want to engage our campuses and our households with what students are learning. Not only what they're doing, but what they are learning. We know those are intertwined. Students are starting to sit for credentials on our campus. Yes. Credentials are very important, give you that resume builder and that competitive edge, all working towards that purposeful career plan. So that students leave West-MEC and they know what it is, what their next step is. So we're absolutely in promoting that, and that's absolutely critically important. Student achievement, student learning, assessments are important. In any industry, you're going to take tests and assessments, and that will improve your standing and remove any glass ceiling that's above you. So you can climb that ladder and take it as far as you want. And then our professionalism as well. We talk about, it goes beyond just being here on time, being here every day to learn, being in uniform and all that. All those things are important. But we're talking about a communication, we're talking about teamwork, leadership, and problem solving, and the ability to learn is what industry is telling us, right? And that's what we want to share with our community. The ability to learn. If you stop and think about that a little bit, it's deeper than you might think initially. So very excited about that. Ms. Casillas, anything on those topics?
No, I think just the professionalism, we're going to see that in action in the next couple of weeks. We're starting mock interviews in many of our programs. So speak to your students about that. Mock interviews are going to be happening in vet science, also in Mr. Golding's auto tech class. Every student will get an opportunity to participate in those. So just another way to practice that communication, execute those professionalism skills to get ready for the next step.
Outstanding. We're also talking about perhaps in the classroom, let's do it right, chunking that content and providing that feedback as well. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll transition into some other questions.
Correct. So it's kind of hard to discuss what does feedback look like when you're doing something that could be a little more on the straightforward side, maybe the dry side. I might hear that a little bit when it comes to something like pharmacy laws.
Sure.
And understanding just some of the basic principles, why we have to follow certain laws and why these laws are in place. And then understanding when we are not fully understanding what's going on with the laws and why they're actually there. A lot of people said, oh, the laws are there to break. Not so much in pharmacy. Breaking laws can tend to lead
no bueno.
Yeah,
no
it leads
bueno.
to fines and fees and a loss of the license you work so hard for. So that's where we're at in our curriculum in pharmacy science, and we start out very early with understanding the laws because you have to know what you can and cannot do as a pharmacy technician, knowing what pharmacy technicians can do and then what the pharmacist has to do. There's a very distinct line, and so crossing that line into what we call outside your scope of practice can lead to fines and eventually termination of a job. So we really have to understand that before we can start doing some of the actual practical work of understanding how to fill prescriptions and process them and get them out to the patients. You have to know what you can and cannot do.
There are a lot of laws.
Yes.
And Ms. Stewart does an excellent job of chunking that content.
Amen to
because
that, yes.
when I've walked in
be
her classroom,
overwhelming.
I mean, how
It
many
can
laws
be.
do they need to know?
Oh, just flat out laws are 18, and one law has so many components when it comes to controlled substances.
Right.
We're here to try to prevent the misuse and the abuse of medications. We're here to help the public, even though everyone thinks we're just kind of being stingy with medicine. It's really to help prevent, making sure people are taking it the healthy way, the way their doctors want it's prescribed,
Right.
and understanding what are the limits when it comes to getting that medication to patients.
She could just teach all 18 laws at once.
Yeah.
That's not the way it happens.
They would
She
be running.
definitely chunks the content. They break each law apart, just a few at a time.
Outstanding job, and
Correct.
then that promotes feedback as well. And then what I'm hearing, which Mrs. Casillas says to me often, probably daily, stay in your lane.
Yes.
Right? Stay in your lane, dude. Stay in your
There's
lane.
definite lanes when
Yes.
it comes to pharmacy, what you can and cannot
Yep,
do.
outstanding. Credential opportunities for our pharmacy students?
Yes, so as a one-year program, our plan is to sit for what we call the exempt exam. So it stands for the exam for the certification of pharmacy technicians. So we're going to be sitting for that the third week of May. It's an off-site campus where we have to go to a whole other building. So we're going to coordinate with parents and schools and students on actually getting them there. It's not nearby our campus, unfortunately, but there's only one location in central Phoenix where we have to actually go to take the certification exam.
And that's a major adjustment on your part. It puts pressure on our instructors, but it also allows us to track student achievement in a timely way, and to be able to respond to that as well. Our current pass rate from last year, students who took the test,
89%.
89%, 90%, and the national pass rate about
It's in the mid-70s.
mid-70s on a good year. Absolutely. So students are well prepared.
And they
for
are.
that
They're
assessment.
even coming back once they've started their job. They worked for a couple weeks, and they're telling current students what to study for, what helped them be
Yep.
successful on the test,
Yep.
and what to look out for once they actually start working in industry. And they're saying it aligns.
That's
So
great. That's
It's
reinforced.
confident for me to hear as
Yeah,
well.
and that's absolutely, it's validation of all the work. Career pathways, and what's industry telling us about career pathways? I read, trying to remember, above average growth for pharmacy technicians across all the industries. That's what the job outlook is.
Correct.
18% increase from this time last year. I think it was the second quarter of 2023 to the second quarter of 2024. 18% increase in the hiring of actual pharmacists as well.
And the big thing that's happened, I mean, unfortunately, we've had to do a lot of adjustment for COVID, but they've realized the capability that technicians are trained to do a lot more than they thought they could in the past. So they are moving a lot of the other responsibilities that used to be just isolated for pharmacists. They're realizing that pharmacy technicians, they can give immunizations, they can do more of the work in the pharmacy that leaves the pharmacist to do their job that requires their higher level education. So that's why there's so many more opportunities for pharmacy technicians now.
And it's so interesting, instead of avoiding the problem, like you said, that the pandemic caused these problems, and
Pharmacy embraced it. We had to.
yes, humans will embrace it and overcome
We
it.
had
It's
to.
a-
All the
such great lesson in that.
vaccinations
Yep.
were dumped on the pharmacy,
Yep.
and now most people go to get all their vaccinations
Yep.
at a pharmacy, and
Outstanding.
they've had to adjust that as
A
well.
better way to do things. Learning, what's coming up next for students then?
We have so they are getting ready to take their law test. They're reviewing every day for it, and we just started working on that communication tool, our professionalism as well. How do you do basic greeting to a pharmacy, at a pharmacy when patients come up and talk to you? You've got to greet them, the hello, the thank you, the goodbyes, those kind of things. We don't do that a lot on our social media and texting.
Nope.
We usually don't
Yep.
say a hi, goodbye on a text.
Absolutely.
And so learning to do that face to face is a whole new thing for a lot of
Yep.
students.
Yep.
So we've just started practicing how do you interview a patient, how do you ask the right questions
Yep.
to find out what their needs are.
Yep, and de-escalate and deal with conflict.
Correct.
Outstanding, lifelong skills.
Correct.
That's so
Absolutely.
awesome. Good for you. CTSO, anything?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
we're
this weekend,
we've
right?
got some great stuff going on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Our group's been very active. They've started in with our officer team's been getting together. They have committees. We have our very first group activity. We're doing Feed My Starving Children up in North Scottsdale on Saturday morning. I think I have about 24 people signed up for that, so that's going to be an
great.
amazing group. They also put together their first ever, we did Adopt a Street. So we picked a street that's right next to campus. It happens to have a McDonald's on the end. So our plan is to go out there. We've got our vests, our safety gear, and go clean up our street. And after our very first cleanup, we actually get our very own sign posted out there that
That's so
we've
cool,
That's
yeah.
neat.
adopted that. So it's been approved, and we're excited. We just got
Good
all of
for
our
you.
equipment.
Yep, and that's above and beyond all the work that's our instructors do in the classroom.
Yeah.
The classroom instruction is a full-time job. Then you throw on top leadership development, work-based learning, right? It's
Yep.
yeah,
CTSOs,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
Volunteer
it's yeoman's
yeah.
work, and absolutely, we're so blessed to
Yeah,
have
we
you and have
appreciate
our
you.
staff
Good time, thank
absolutely
you.
here. Outstanding. And then just real brief, your pathway to teaching. How do you, what did you travel?
How did I accidentally get
Yep.
here?
Yes.
My goal was kind of similar to a lot of the other students had. They went to college, they did this path. My goal was eventually to be a pharmacist. Unfortunately, a lot of health problems got in the way at the time, and I had to do some adjustments as well. And my whole purpose of going into pharmacy was teaching people about medicine. So I think this was where I was supposed to end up anyway, even though I took quite a windy road to get here.
We would agree.
And I love it. I love being here. I love seeing when students have mastered that content, when
Yep.
they understand just the basic laws, they realize what they can do, and they're like, wait, we can't do that. The law says so.
Yep.
It's actually very, very fulfilling for
Well,
me.
the fruit speaks for itself. The right person on the right seat on the bus is where you're at, and we're absolutely blessed. Interesting though, like health reasons kept you from being a pharmacist, so you're like, hey, how does that, you should be a pharmacist with health reasons, but Mrs. Casillas' doctor's appointment was changed because the doctor got sick, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
huh?
they're-
Like, it's confused.
Still
I'm
human.
confused by that, huh?
Yeah.
No, but that's awesome. Upcoming events, Mrs. Casillas?
Some important days to mark on the calendar. Friday, October 11th, no school for students. That's a teacher professional day, and that's backed up to Monday, October 14th, which will be the Columbus Day holiday. So also no school on Monday, October 14th. Keeping in mind that West-MEC does not have a fall break.
No
So
fall
That's a tough one.
I know
Yeah.
that's hard. Your student might be off from home high school, but we'll still have classes here at West-MEC. So please remember that. Some fun things coming up. Medical assistants
We
volunteering.
like fun things.
with Ronald McDonald House. We've got the pharmacy event this weekend. Vet science mock interviews are coming up the week of October 16th. And then CE Day, Career Exploration Day down in Vet. Always an amazing
Yeah, it was very
experience
cool.
for
Yeah,
our
yeah.
students is on October
Yep,
22nd.
yep.
So lots happening here at the Northeast Campus.
Yep, awesome.
And I'm
Very
going to do
good.
a plug for our fundraiser that's coming up. We do have one at Panda Express up in the Norterra area on October 17th. So make sure you look for emails and signs. Help support us.
Well
Get those
done.
kids to competitions.
Well done, Miss Stewart, taking advantage of
Thank
that
you.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Well done there, young lady. Hey, we're absolutely thrilled that you've trusted us here at Northeast Campus in West-MEC for your students' future. We believe in our students. High hopes for our country because we interact with the future each and every day. And, life is good on the Northeast Campus. It's good because of these two people that are in the room here, Alex, the A-Train behind the camera there, and our staff. Absolutely.
That's
But
my nickname.
we love our kids. We enjoy them. We thank you. Career and technical education is thriving at West-MEC and on the Northeast Campus. We appreciate your support. Come by and see us anytime, and always ask your student, what are you learning? What are you learning? And think about your thinking. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful end of September. We hope the temperature cools down here a little bit. 110 in October seems weird, but hey, we're used to it. And